WWE wrestlers take great pride in trolling their opponents. This trolling is always a great mental tactic, which in theory should give them a psychological edge in the match. The ways wrestlers have trolled their opponents have varied over the years, from stolen finishes to mocking signature taunts. There have been some memorable and hilarious incidents of trolling throughout WWE's decorated history that need to be seen to be believed. But which times were they? Well, join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 times a WWE wrestler outright trolled their opponent in the ring. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10. CM Punk trolls The Big Show. The Straight Edge Society was a vastly underrated stable that was never given the proper treatment they deserved. Whilst each member of the stable was talented, WWE just didn't seem to want to present them with any ounce of credibility. This would be clear during their 2010 feud with The Big Show. The group's leader, CM Punk, would lead the charge against the 7-foot giant, and the feud escalated when the group broke Big Show's hand using the steel steps. Now, to try and get this storyline over, Punk would begin to wear a custom-made "I broke Big Show's hand" t-shirt. Punk would wear this for all television appearances during their rivalry, as he would even wear the t-shirt for SummerSlam 2010 showdown between The Big Show and the Straight Edge Society. This was one of the only highlights of a disappointing rivalry, which ended up completely burying the once promising faction. Number 9. Seth Rollins wears Dusty Rhodes' attire. One of the most acclaimed feuds of 2022 has been the feud between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Rollins would be Rhodes' first feud following Rhodes' WrestleMania 38 return, and both men delivered some exceptional matchups. The final match of their feud took place inside a Hell in a Cell, and this was an epic matchup mainly due to Rhodes going into the match with an incredibly serious pectoral muscle tear. Rollins would try to get into Rhodes' head before the bell even rang, as Rollins would wear Dusty Rhodes' iconic polka dot attire for the match. This was a brilliant touch from Rollins and certainly made the match even more memorable. Some fans questioned if it was appropriate for Rollins to be wearing an attire to mock a deceased talent, but Rhodes without a doubt would have spoken up if it was an issue. Number 8. Theory taunts Cody Rhodes. Speaking in the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, during his last WWE run, he portrayed a notorious character known as Stardust. This character was not well received by fans, and it was actually one of the reasons why Rhodes left back in 2016. When he returned to WWE in 2022, it was only natural that wrestlers would mock and troll Rhodes for his past gimmick. This was on full display during Rhodes' match with Theory on the May 9th, 2022 edition of Raw. During the match, Theory would perform Stardust's signature. It was hilarious and received a great reaction from the crowd, which showed that fans clearly remembered Rhodes' days as the Prince of Dark Matter. Number 7. Tyler Breeze dresses as Nikki Bella. Leading up to John Cena and Nikki Bella's match with The Miz and Maurice at WrestleMania 33, Cena and Nikki took part in a mini TV feud with Tyler Breeze and Fandango. The work of both Breeze and Fandango received a ton of praise from fans, as they were incredibly entertaining as a comedic duo. One of the most memorable moments of this TV feud was the time that Breeze decided to dress up as Nikki Bella. Breeze would dress as Nikki on a number of occasions, and Breeze absolutely nailed the humorous role. According to Breeze, it was Cena's idea for Breeze and Fandango to work with himself and Nikki during the build to WrestleMania 33. Cena reportedly believed that WWE should have been doing more with the two talents, and this led to Breezango receiving substantial TV time during this time. Number 6. Rick Rude's special attire. Rick Rude was one of the best heels in WWE during the 1980s. Rude was a master at getting into his opponent's head to gain an advantage, leading into huge matchups. But one of Rude's most notable heel tactics saw him use his attire to mock his opponents. Take for instance, during his legendary feud with Jake the Snake Roberts. During the feud, Rude would reveal a special version of his tights which had Roberts' wife airbrushed onto them. It was an ingenious way to elevate the feud and just showed how low Rude was willing to go. Roberts wasn't a fan of including his wife in this manner, so he tore off the tights on television. Number 5. Lacey Evans mocks Seth Rollins. The main event of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view in 2019 saw a mixed tag match, as Lacey Evans would team up with Baron Corbin to take on Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. For what it was, the match was fun and it featured some memorable spots. This was the match which saw Lynch receive an end of days from Corbin, and fans suspected this could be a sign that intergender wrestling was on its way to WWE. Another key talking point about the match was Evans' attire. So on the back of her shorts, Evans had Seth written across her backside. This was a rather unique way of Evans to try and antagonize Lynch ahead of the bell officially ringing. It was a smart way to use in-ring attire to further a personal issue. Number 4. Rob Van Dam performs Triple H's Water Spit Taunt. In 2002, WWE decided to reintroduce two world titles. The WWE title would be on SmackDown whilst the world title would be on Raw. The world title would be awarded to Triple H on Raw as Brock Lesnar was WWE Champion and he was exclusive to SmackDown. Triple H's first feud as world champion would be against popular star Rob Van Dam, and there was a huge push internally at the time for RVD to be crowned champion. He had built up a genuine connection with the fans and they were ready to accept him as their guy. Unfortunately, Vince McMahon wasn't quite ready to make RVD world champion, and he was subsequently defeated in his world title opportunity at the Unforgiven pay-per-view. Now, the match itself was passable, but it did feature RVD trolling Triple H in a downright hilarious manner. RVD would perform Triple H's trademark water spit taunt to get in the head of the world champion. This marked the first time that anybody had copied Triple H's taunt, and it was a highlight of the match that is mostly known for the formation of Triple H and Ric Flair's partnership. Number 3. AJ Lee turns into Nikki Bella. AJ Lee was a massive overachiever in WWE and seemingly managed to deliver with every gimmick and character she was given. Lee would do everything in her power to make her storylines work, and this included going outside the box with her presentation. Take for instance during a 2014 feud with the Bella twins. AJ was set to face Brie Bella on SmackDown and she decided to dress as Nikki Bella for the match. AJ delivered Nikki's mannerisms perfectly, and she would even use Nikki's theme song to further irritate her arch nemesis. Number 2. CM Punk dresses as Jeff Hardy. The rivalry between CM Punk and Jeff Hardy was one of the highlights of WWE television in 2009. The feud was extremely personal and the feud successfully propelled both men to new heights. The payoff to the rivalry took place in the summer of 2009 as the two would collide in a steel cage match on SmackDown. The match had the added stipulation that if Hardy lost, he would be forced to leave WWE. Hardy would ultimately lose the match, officially departing WWE in the process, but on the following week's SmackDown, Hardy's iconic theme song would play to the shock of fans. However, this wasn't Jeff Hardy, it was Punk dressed as the charismatic Enigma. Punk would then mock all of Hardy's signature taunts and gestures. It was a perfect way for Punk to gain even more heat and show fans that Punk was the top heel on SmackDown. Number 1. Seth Rollins brings back the Shield attire. The Universal title was on the line at the 2022 Royal Rumble in a match between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. The two would collide in a tremendous matchup. The match was already off to an iconic start as Rollins decided to bring back the Shield attire to get into the head of the Universal Champion. During an interview with Digital Spy, Rollins revealed what led him to bring back the popular attire, and he stated, "Fortunately, the event was in St. Louis, which is a short drive from my home in Iowa, where I kept all my old stuff. So I had a few friends come up for the show, and so I had to have them put it in the backpack. My mom packed it and delivered it to the guys, and they brought it down." Rollins using the attire received a great reaction from the audience, mainly because it was so unexpected. Following him using the attire, as well as the aforementioned Dusty Rhodes attire against Cody Rhodes, there's now an expectation that the former WWE Champion is going to troll his opponent whenever he's given the opportunity. But there you have it folks, 10 WWE wrestlers who troll their opponent in the ring. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.